So imagine this, you are playing cricket, you are the captain of the team, the match is a tie and it's headed for a tiebreaker. To win, your team needs to play its best over. Ideally, try and hit a 6 in every ball. So what do you do as the captain? Send your best players to the pitch, right? Now, Vladimir Putin is playing one such match. It's not cricket, but a game of geopolitics, a game of war and peace. He had a lead in the match. Now Ukraine is making gains. To seal the game, Putin needs to bring his best players into the stadium. And that is exactly what he has done. He has put Russia's so-called General Armageddon in charge of the Ukraine war. Our next report tells you all about this Russian military commander who is infamous for his ruthlessness.
When a flurry of rockets landed in civilian areas of Kyiv, Kremlin watchers knew exactly what was going on behind the scenes in Russia. The country's military was following the command of its new commander, General Armageddon.
The Russian Defense Minister has appointed Army General Sergey Surovikin as commander of the combined groups of troops in the area of the special military operation.
Meet Sergey Surovikin. He is 55. In the West, the man is known for his ruthlessness. His colleagues call him General Armageddon. Some believe that Surovikin is the best general the Russian military has. The man is a hardliner. His approach to war is orthodox. In 1991, he asked men under him to fire at pro-democracy protesters. This was in the months leading up to the collapse of the Soviet Union. 3 protesters were killed in the operation, and Surovikin was jailed. He walked out 6 months later without trial. 4 years later, Surovikin was back in prison. This time, it was for illegal arms trade. Goes without saying, Surovikin has a reputation. In 2004, he was stationed in Chechnya. By then, he was already widely feared. It did not help that in 2004, a colonel serving under Surovikin killed himself. What happened? The Russian media says the colonel was reprimanded. Surovikin's next big assignment was Syria. In 2017, Russians were fighting on the side of President Bashar al-Assad, and Surovikin was the commander of the aerospace forces. Surovikin led dozens of attacks. He says that while performing combat operations in Syria, not for once did he forget that he was defending Russia and Russian interests. How did that go? Surovikin oversaw indiscriminate bombing, allegedly also the use of chemical weapons. The Human Resource Watch believes that under Surovikin, Russian forces struck Syrian homes, schools, healthcare facilities and markets, the places where people live, work and study. A report published in 2020 listed the Russian general as one of the commanders who may bear command responsibility for violations during the Idlib offensive. What kind of violations are we talking about? The use of chemical weapons. Russia awarded Surovikin with a very special title, the Hero of Russia. Also decorated him with a medal for his service in Syria. It was also during his time in Syria that Surovikin became close to private military company, the Wagner mercenary group. Its founder once called Surovikin the most competent commander in the Russian army. Surovikin's biggest challenge in Ukraine will be to lead the counter-offensive. There is also a shortage of manpower and weapons. What is Surovikin's plan? Will he be applying the Syrian playbook in Ukraine? In his previous assignments, Surovikin has shown the ability to wage wars that involve biological and chemical weapons. And that is the kind of brand that Putin might encash right now. He has repeatedly threatened a nuclear escalation. With the appointment of Sergey Surovikin, Putin is showing that he also has commanders who are capable of escalating the conflict. Surovikin began his new assignment by sending rockets into Ukraine and attacking civilian areas.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.